Hello, my name is Carlissa Phillips. This is my signature project part 2 for SE 504. Um, the identified problem is the exposure of extended amounts of screen time in children and how it affects their cognitive and social and emotional health. According to one study, it has been reported that higher levels of early childhood technology exposure forecasted less task-oriented and independent learning behavior in the classroom. Young children do not need to spend an excessive amount of time in front of a screen. Many studies have shown that excessive screen time impacts children's ability to focus as well. The data, so this was a graph that I had in my first part 1 of the signature project. The graph shows data to support that increased amounts of screen time leads to lower well-being. This was from a study conducted by Twenge and Campbell. The graph has different representations of well-being. So it has if the student does not bounce back, if they lose their temper, and they cannot calm down when excited or wound up. And then it correlates with the amount of screen time that they get per day. The bold solid line represents not being able to bounce back, and like the solid line represents losing their temper, and the dashed line represents not being able to calm down easily. Each of these behaviors are increased after extended use of screen time, as the graph shows. It seems that it's hard for children to calm down and relax after spending 5 or more hours in front of a screen. Some background information about my study. The study I gathered the data from, like I said, was from Twenge and Campbell. It was a random sample of children ages 2 to 17 and in 2016, and it measured all types of screen time, including cell phones, computers, electronic devices, electronic games, and TV. Also noticed when I allowed my students in my current classroom to use their free time on tablets, their behavior seems to be worse after use of screen time. And also, it sometimes is extremely hard to get them to understand, like, okay, free time on the iPad or whatever use of screen or technology they're on is over. The methodology for this, the population is going to be 4th grade students in a self-contained special education classroom at Griggs Elementary. The sampling is convenient sampling. For this, it'll be a quantitative approach. Data will be gathered before and after the screen time. Behavior data will be negative behaviors after screen time, such as non-compliance, arguing with the teacher, and failure to complete assigned tasks. Like I said, the convenient sampling is being used, so each member of the population has an equal and independent chance of being selected. Each member of the 4th grade students that are in the self-contained class. Students in the classes will be randomly assigned numbers to protect their identity. Informed consent will be obtained from guardians since this study does involve minors. Like I said, I will collect data before and after students receive screen time. Instrumentation. This is the behavior rubric that will be used to collect the behavior data. Like I said, they will be given numbers, so it'll just have their number instead of name there. After students have completed their designated time, screen time, a behavior rubric will be used to evaluate their conduct afterwards. Additionally, students' behavior will be evaluated on days when they do not have the choice of using tablets or other screens during free time. So when they have the choice of free play, such as kitchen, blocks, sensory boxes, their behavior will be evaluated after to see the difference between when they have screen time and when they get to play for their free time. Collaborative efforts. So for this, I'll collaborate with parents to ensure their child is at school and also to let them know about this study. Like I said, I will be receiving their consent. I will collaborate with teachers to discuss data and end results, and I'll also collaborate with admin to talk about future changes if there needs to be any. Procedures. So the students will be placed into one of two groups starting at the beginning of a month. Group 1 and Group 2 will spend 2 weeks in the assigned group, and then they will swap. Group 1 will be the group who will get the screen time, so things such as iPad, laptop, or any other sort of technology. For their free time, Group 2 will get to play. So like I said in an earlier slide, the kitchen, building blocks, sensory boxes, things like that. Data will be taken before and after designated amount of time spent in free time. After 2 weeks, the groups will swap. Then data will be taken to see how the students' behavior changes based on the activity they spend their free time. So we want to see if they have play or something other than iPad or screen time. Do they have positive behavior after that? How their behavior is after the play free time versus do they have or their behavior after the screen time, to see if, like many studies have shown, if it correlates with the negative behavior. So each of the 4th grade students will be placed into 2 groups, like I said, and they will swap after 2 weeks. Validity. Behavior data is going to be collected, like I've stated. Teacher observation is what will be used to track the data. Behavior data will be tracked using the frequency that the negative behavior occurs. So like I said, the negative behavior is non-compliance, not listening, not following directions, having a hard time transitioning, negative behavior such as that. And it'll be taken daily during the month of this study. There are some limitations that may occur. Since the study will be conducted within a special education classroom, some students may have bad days behavior-wise, and so on a day if a student happens to be having just a really rough day due to their disability, they would not participate in the study that day. They would get to be excluded from that. Ethical considerations. So student confidentiality is extremely important. Their names will be protected and they will be given a number. Parents will sign consent forms and parents will understand what is going on in this study. And permission to conduct the study will be received by the school principal before conducting the study. Results. So I expect that the behavior data will show that the less amount of screen time the student receives, the more positive behavior they will display, and vice versa. If the student receives more, or when the student receives more screen time as their free time, that they possibly will result in them having more negative behavior, such as the non-compliance and arguing with teacher. If I were to change anything about this, I would also like to track student achievement along with the behavior. I would like to see how the student achievement correlates with the use of screen time. Also, I'd like to include students in the general education classrooms. I feel as if that would be useful to know as well. I am just currently a special education teacher, so that's why I chose to conduct the study in a special education room. But I would have liked, if I could go back, I would like to include students in the general education classrooms. Also, I would like to maybe have sent home a survey or spoke with parents that of the children who are going to be in this study to discuss the screen time, the amount of screen time that they have at home, and just get a little bit more personal background information. That way, after the results, after the study has been conducted, I can say, hey, we're seeing more positive behavior from them when they have reduced amounts of screen time. Maybe try it at home and see, if you have some more positive behavior from them if you reduce their screen time at home. Yes, so thank you for listening.